Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us, Bev.
Hey everybody. Good to see you, Linda, and be on here.
Yes, thank you for coming. I know, it's been a month. I think it was the last full moon that we did this. We had so much going on.
I know it's been crazy, and from the comments you were reading before we came on, everybody's feeling it.
Yeah, welcome, Scotty. We just want to take a moment too, just to say we're very sorry for your loss. It's really hard losing somebody so young. I agree with you. 50 is way too early. And
Oh,
we
sorry to
just want to
hear.
send out our condolences. Good friend Carlos who lost his wife a couple days ago. So we just want to say we're sorry for your loss and thank you for being here. We appreciate it,
Yes,
Scotty.
thank you.
And I'm doing my very best to get to comments kind of in between here and there, not just wait till the very, very end. So hopefully I will try to keep up with the comments this time. I also want to welcome anybody who's over on Rumble joining us live. We're simul streaming or we're not simul streaming. They're having trouble. Uh-oh. Okay, well, perhaps we will just upload this later. So if you're trying to get on over on Rumble and you're here on YouTube, I don't know. Sorry about that. We'll figure it out next time. We've got some really good stuff tonight. We're going to be combining Bev's knowledge on astrology and some of the codes that I've been doing with numerology because they all tie in. And I should
Yes.
have put something on the thumb or added it to the title of this about 1111 gateway or major gateway or something like that because you can't miss it. That and the number 13. It's just crazy how many numbers you keep seeing and what's anchoring in with the sun and the moon and all that. So, Bev, let me see.
My allergies are just giving me a hard time, so pardon me for coughing. I don't mean to do that, but yeah, it's just the allergies are awful.
Oh, it's okay. Take your time. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the chart to the stream so we can get this up here. And how about if I just start talking about the first 1111 here so that I can kick it
Please
off and
do.
then you can get into the astrology? All right. So I want to show you guys on here how these numbers are working. Okay. You know how in numerology, everybody pretty much knows. I'm not going to give you any lessons here, but we got the 8 plus the 1 here. 13 degrees, 18 seconds. Or if I say that wrong, if it's like arc minutes, is
Yeah,
it minutes?
13 degrees, 18 arc minutes. You got it, Linda.
All right, thank you. No, I was going to say seconds. Thank you. All right, so we have the first 13 right here, and that's the first thing we want to look at because it's a full moon. I know this little glyph doesn't show a full moon, but this is a full moon. This is a 13. It's anchoring the 13, okay? But 3 and 9 is, well, let's see. The 3 and the 1 is a 4. The 8 and the 1 is a 9. The 9 and the 4 is a 13. So that's a hidden 13 as well, which, the whole thing equals 3 plus 1 equals 4. So the moon is anchoring in a double 13 or a 13 and then a hidden 13, as well as the sun. It's also doing the same thing. But now it's also a 4. And then you go over here next to it. Was this Neptune, I think?
Pluto.
That's Pluto. Oh, okay.
That's Pluto.
Hey, Pluto.
Yeah.
Pluto's a 7. And the 7 plus the 4 is the first 11. Okay, this is the first 11 of the next look down here. This is Saturn, right? 7 and 4.
Yep.
That's another 11. So this is an 11. Whoops. Sorry. This is an 1111 gateway right off the bat. And the first part of the 11 is also, it's the 11 and the 13 being anchored by the moon. So that's what I found. Once you talk about the other points, I'll talk about the 1111 with Chiron and the other one after you talk about them.
Okay. This particular full moon is conjunct what they call the Great Attractor. Now you hear people talk about the galactic center, which is at 27 degrees of Sagittarius, and that's our connection to source, spirit, creator, God consciousness. Well, the Great Attractor, which is at the 14 degrees of Sagittarius, it's a portal to a higher consciousness outside of our Milky Way. So the galactic center is in our Milky Way, and this Great Attractor is outside. So it's almost like what's pouring in to the planet from consciousness that we don't normally connect with. So I see this as being that big portal to all this. I mean, look at the numbers and look at it being right there connected to that. To me, that was amazing. Talk about a lot of points in this chart too. Now, so we know the galactic center is at 27 Sagittarius. The Great Attractor is at 14 Sag. And then you have a couple other planets. What they do is they give you the degree when they find them, and they actually give them a name and all that. They call that point. So like the Chiron point is 4 degrees of Taurus, because in 1977, when they discovered Chiron, it was at 4 degrees Taurus. So whenever a planet gets to 4 degrees Taurus, it's activating that Chiron point.
Hmm.
And there's also a Cheroklo point. Cheroklo was Chiron's wife, and she helped him with the healing and his journey. And that's at 7 degrees of Leo, where it was found. So you will see we have the Cheroklo point and the Chiron point highly activated in this chart too. So we have the divine feminine and the divine masculine. It's all the healing theme. And it's taking us to this portal to connecting with the higher consciousness and this gateway, as you were talking about, Linda, with the numbers.
Yeah, it's such a major gateway too, because if you take the four degrees of Taurus, which is the Chiron point, and the 7 degrees Leo, which is Charleclo, that's another 11.
Another
But
11.
I had to go deeper. You know, I had to go deeper.
Oh yeah, I know you.
And so I went to the Great Attractor point, which is in the Sabian symbols, and it's 14 degrees. Oh yeah, I got into Sabian symbols too now. 14 degrees Sagittarius, like you said. It's the pyramids and the Sphinx. Okay.
Yes.
And it's the 254th degree point at 14 degrees Sagittarius is number 254. That
54.
also equals 11. So there's another 11, 11, and it's the divine masculine, divine feminine. But wouldn't you consider Chiron and Charleclo sort of like Mars and Venus, like you said, divine masculine, divine feminine?
Yes, they're both the healers. So Chiron's the masculine healer, and Cheroklo is like the feminine. Yeah.
I mean, it's just pretty amazing. You can't make this stuff up. It's all you can do is let it be revealed to you, and you can see it. Oh, can I say one other thing before you do some more astrology?
Sure. I was just going to point out there too how Venus right now is right behind Mars too. Mars hung around in Gemini for a long time. Finally, it's in Leo now, and Venus is coming right behind them too. So I find it, and they're going to meet up within like 1 or 2 degrees of each other too. So it's just how it's flowing, with the things lining up together. As I look at more and more and follow it even further down the road, which I don't want to get out too far, but there's so many things here that you can't make the stuff up. I mean, with the numbers coming into it too, this is even blowing me away even more. I knew somehow these numbers had to come into point, and Linda, you took off with them and ran. So it's been really cool learning with you about it, because I knew a little numerology, but not to the depth that you do.
It's and then I don't even know it. It's just coming to me. It's like literally like my head opened up, and the galactic center codes are just pouring in. It feels like a spotlight, and I can kind of just see straight up. It's just so strange. But when you were talking about decodes from the last video that I did, I'm going to come back real quick in a second. The last video I did, I said in there that I would decode something, and living well is the best of revenge, or living well is the best revenge. And I believe that was said by Donald Trump's first wife. And so I decoded those, just so you know, and it was 329 equals 311 equals 5. The gematria message was, I knew you could figure it out. 329. And living well is the best revenge, not best of revenge, was 308. And the gematria 11th message on that one was the shot heard around the world, 308. So wow. I just wanted to let you guys know those were the decodes from that one. I think I said I would decode that later. I said, you knew I would. Well, that was the message that I got from that to decode. There was something else. Super black hole. No. Oh, the Great Attractor is number 200 in gematria also. Destiny is calling. Yep. Destiny is calling me, and prepare yourself. And then the 5th message on that one was the Phoenix rising.
Yes. And
I did the 5th message because the Great Attractor is at 14 degrees Sagittarius, and 4 + 1 is 5. So I was shown, go down to the 5th message. That's when I got I knew you could figure it out. I was like, okay. It's like, who's talking to me here? It's pretty cool. So Destiny is calling, prepare yourself, and the Phoenix is rising. So I'd say that ties in very nice.
Very nicely. And when you start following this stuff, gematria just blows my mind.
Hmm.
And as you see these different things line up, I mean, there ain't that many coincidences in the world. I'm sorry, it's like picking the winning lottery numbers. No, it just doesn't happen like that.
No, it doesn't. Hey, Angel. Hey, Derek. Thanks for joining us. Everyone else watching, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you. If you're trying to view it on Rumble, it's not working. It says over here on this end. So we'll figure that out later. All right, Bev. Do I need
Good
to
to see
move the
everybody.
chart? Yeah. Let's see. All right. Where on the chart do you want to focus next? Because there's a
Uh,
lot. There's still a lot going on here.
I know. I was just kind of looking at it with so we talked about the full moon and where it's at. Um, if you look down there in that bottom, look at all the Taurus energies we have right there. We've got the North Node conjunct Jupiter right now, and we have Mercury conjunct Uranus. So we have a lot of grounding energies and things to help us there. But Jupiter conjunct the North Node. I mean, that's Jupiter expands. So it's taking us, this is another step in the process. And I hate that word, but it's another step in the process of where, things are going to be. This is the future and this is where we're going. And with Jupiter, it always comes easier. So you may get some of these things coming in right now as far as, the downloads and things like that. It may not make sense right away, but they're going to all come together like the pieces of the puzzle. And you're seeing it just in us talking about this stuff. And I really believe Jupiter is going to be very supportive. Now, Jupiter and the North Node are squaring Pluto. So Pluto's saying, okay, we saw how things went before. Pluto's sitting up there at 0 degrees of Aquarius, and he's getting ready to go retrograde back into Capricorn. So we got about 3 months of what Pluto's going to do when it goes into Aquarius and those new age of Aquarius energies. So he's saying, okay, I'm still watching here. We're beginning this. He's going to back up into Capricorn, but it's all about the responsibility and looking at your commitments and really looking at too, what you want to take forward with you. I know we've had the big theme, with Neptune and Saturn there in Pisces of what's going to go forward with me and what isn't. But this chart is kind of even more enforcing that because you got Pluto squaring the North Node, and you've also got an opposing Venus there too. So with the opposition to Venus and Pluto in this whole configuration, I think it's a lot about looking at relationships and looking at your patterns, healing relationships, maybe picking the ones that, the resonance isn't there anymore. You just have, when those conversations become difficult and you can't even find something to talk about, you're being sent signs of, when it gets uncomfortable enough, you'll finally do something about it. So it's about being proactive and kind of looking at that stuff now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And that Jupiter in the North Node will be conjunct until June 15th. And so it's a very good time for manifesting, putting the dreams out there, just finding the pieces and finding that new dream. We came through all those planets in Aries. Now it's in Taurus where we start to put them in place. Taurus is the organizer, like slow and steady. Let's make it fall into place. This is how we're going to do it. So we're taking that energy forward with that. But then we also have that Mercury and Uranus there. And I'm looking at that, they say Uranus is the cosmic mind and Mercury is our linear mind. So it's bringing those two together. And what better way to do that than this opening with the full moon to the Great Attractor and the higher knowledge outside of our Milky Way and our galaxy system. So I found that really cool too. And also it's in Taurus and Uranus with Mercury there. We're still looking at financial shakeups in that. I mean, everybody who's watching things, it's hanging in a balance right now. And with those two being conjunct there, Uranus is in the last one of the 20 degrees now, and it's not going to go back. It's going to keep moving forward until it gets out of Taurus, which takes a while yet. But still, it's in that third, what they call decan, the last 10 degrees. So it's where do we find spiritual mastery in what we want to take forward? Let's use the higher knowledge. Uranus is going to shake it up, and it's pretty much done that through the first 19 degrees. Now it's going into that third decan, and it's saying, okay, now is the time for mastery. You've got Jupiter and the North Node behind saying, okay, we're looking at the destiny. Jupiter says, I'm going to make it easier because you've done the work and the healing. where can we take this going forward?
Mm. And it's on solid footing too, because look at the fours.
Yes.
And
Yes.
there's more than that. When I get to the numbers, I'll show you.
That's all right. Go ahead and point me out that you need to. I was just taking another look here.
No, but it's solid foundation just jumped right out. You keep going. You're doing great.
Okay.
This is awesome information.
Okay, I talked about that. Now you also have the north and south node there, and it doesn't show on the chart. I'm fighting with this software, and I will conquer it. But the
Yours.
north and south node, they are at yeah, it's not showing up. Hang on, I got my other chart here that shows it. I apologize for that.
Oh, no, that's okay. I don't think I have a chart up for today, so
Okay, the
can't help
north
you.
node is at 3 degrees, so opposite that is the south node at the 3 degrees of Scorpio. I knew where I was trying to go with that.
Scorpio and Taurus? Oh, yeah,
Right,
north node, south node. Oh, okay, yeah. There we go.
right. And they're being squared by Pluto, so Pluto's saying to them too. It's not just he's squaring Venus and saying, look at the relationships, see what you want to carry forward. He's also, he's opposing Venus, but he's making that square to the north node and Jupiter. And he's also got interactions going on there too with the what did I just miss? The north and south nodes. So he's looking at the future, the past, he's looking at relationships. I mean, Pluto is involved all over this if you look at all those lines. And it's he's the timekeeper, he's our responsibilities, what we want to commit to. Just making sure that things are done responsibly. So we're getting a lot of support for that. It may not feel like support, as Uranus shakes things up, but Pluto will set it straight too. Uranus and Pluto, get a bad rap, but they always set things right. And they always, Pluto's the destroyer. He will bring it back, just like the Phoenix rising, just like you said. So how perfect is that?
That's perfect. Don't you love it when it comes together like that?
Yes,
It's
yes.
like a beautiful picture. Oh my goodness. So there's all kinds of support for the journey, right? Like you said, or do we get into that? Saturn, Jupiter? Yeah.
Yeah, I got into the Saturn and Jupiter. Okay.
Uh, I'm just looking to see what else we had. I know you always have more. I just didn't know if you got through.
And I jumped around in my notes, so now I'm going back trying to make sure I don't repeat myself.
No, you're fine. You know what? I think just let it fly at this point, because
Okay.
I think you hit all the bullets, and that's really great because this is intense stuff here. And I was listening to someone else who was doing codes, and we weren't coming out with the same daily numbers.
Mhm.
Like some of them, obviously 2023 is always going to be a 7. Some of them are pretty basic.
Right.
But some of the way when they calculate, like you can add it a different way and still come up with the same number when it's the same number value. But when you start adding gematria into the mix and you start getting codes from that, it's just different. It's just it's a different experience because it ties in with
Yeah.
astrology. It's like astrology, gematria, numerology, they're all coming together in this beautiful mosaic. So, and they're all like astrology, like this is the roadmap, it's like a part of it. But if it's multidimensional, it's not just a flat piece of paper,
Right.
it
Right.
layers up and it spirals up. And every time you spiral up, you can see another tool set that you can use, like gematria or numerology or something else. So this is just one person here trying to say, "Hey, have fun coding. If you like to code, if you like numbers, let's play with this a little bit."
And it's all the pieces to the puzzle. You've got numbers, you've got codes, you've got astrology, you got degree points, and it all ties together. They say everything is connected, and it is. It's just us finding our way, the breadcrumbs, and picking up the pieces and finding out what connects and how.
Yeah. I mean, let's take Mars and Venus, for example, because we were talking about Charlotte Clow and Chiron earlier, divine
Yes.
masculine, divine feminine. So here's
Yes.
what we see is we don't hear about those guys. They're like sort of like older, but Mars and Venus are more recent in our mythologies and stories and archetypes and that kind of thing. So here now we have this, and this is what we can see because Mars and Venus are right here in front of us. And when you start adding these numbers up, it's divine balance, divine masculine, divine feminine. You got 22 and 8. It equals 12, which equals 3. That's a divine trinity. But 12 is sort of like masculine. Well, that's perfect for Mars here, isn't it? And then
Yes.
you take the 39 and the 28 from Venus, you still get a 12. So you have a 12, and then but the 9 and the 3 is the 12, okay?
Nine
And
and
then
three
you
is
have
12.
yep, and then you have a 10. And so you get 310, which is the reverse of the 13. 310. Like 310 is going to come up a couple times over here. It's I'm looking at it like 1033 over with Mercury. And so all these numbers that keep coming up, there's a theme. And the general theme is the 13 that the
The
moon is
13.
locking in with the full moon. It's grounding it through the sun. It's a divine feminine, but a 13, 13, 13, 13 is like an 11, 11, 11, 11, like we just
Yes.
showed at the beginning. So we've got 13s and 11s here. Like, what does 13 mean to you? What is the significance of a 4? It's stability, it's balance.
Yes.
You know, what is 4 is a solid foundation, and it's strength. It's about hard work. It's about stability and efficiency. It's about discipline and practicality, dependability, dedication, tried and true methods, wisdom, rational security, consistency, loyalty, service oriented, and patience. Because it's a solid foundation. So it's funny. I've been
Patience.
patience.
Patience and
Hey,
process.
a
Yeah.
little patient.
Hmm.
Remember the guy that yelled at me? I was telling you about at the car
Yes.
wash.
Yes.
Little
Yes.
patience, please. Like, oh, you just have to yell at people sometimes because they yell at you. You're not going to be like home, you know.
And it's been in the air this last week or so. Seriously.
Yeah, yeah. People have just been like crazy, crazy. All right. Anyway, back to the numbers real quick here, because after our 310, that equals 4 as well. That's another 4 for Venus. So
Okay.
we have a 4, and a 3. Because remember we had the 12, so 2
Yes.
plus 1 is 3, and then we have the 310 for Venus, that's a 4. 34 is a 7. Remember the 7s are all over the place here. 7's
Yes.
God's
Yes.
favorite number. Like we have a lot of 7s. So if you have a 13 and you have 4s and they're anchored, if everything keeps coming together and pairing up like this, it's like you can't ignore. You just can't. Because we have the same thing,
Mm.
the 139 is the 13 is the 4. We did that already. Let me come back up to these guys because we did those. There's also a 3 here with Neptune because it's 9 plus 3 is 12. There's another 12 here. And you could leave it at 12. You can absolutely leave it at 12. 12 is growth and success and independence, inspiration, partnership, flexibility, balance, trust, faith, wisdom, strength, sensitivity. It's magical. It also embodies not only the 1, but the 2 and the 3 as well. The divine trinity is embodied with the 12 equals 2 plus 1 equals 3. So
And
also
double.
hidden, yeah, also hidden a
Hmm.
little bit deeper is the master number 11 via
Yes.
the
Yes.
Trinity, the master gateway within which your divine trinity has access keys to 111 equals 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 3.
And that's funny, Linda. When I first got started on this path, the first number I saw was 1212. Then I started seeing the 1111. So it's most people see the 1111 first, but not me. I saw the 1212 first. So yeah, it's funny how those numbers just keep coming back around.
They do. And still, and then you have your 44 here. Okay. But you all for the North Node, it's 310
Yes,
again. It's 310, which is the
310.
reverse of the 13. It's also a 4.
Oh my God.
Okay. And that's anchored in and conjunct with the 4 4. So now you got a triple 4 going on right here. Triple 4s. Hello.
Girl, your
And
mind works. Mind works with these numbers way quicker than mine.
well, I have it written out. I'm reading it from here as I'm pointing
Yeah,
over
but
here.
still, I talk to you. I talk to you when we talk, and you're just like, man, man. I'm thinking, how does her mind work that fast? Maybe
I
that's yeah.
I can't help it. I can't. It's just the way it is, I guess. It's
I'm that way with astrology, but see, your language is numbers too, and that's why you can just yeah. I love it.
okay,
May
well,
take me
here
a minute to catch
we're
up.
almost done. We're almost done. Well, ask me anything when I'm done if you missed something, but I should keep going because this is just mind blowing. This is a 10. The 19 here with Mercury is a 10. So 1033. Again, 1 0 3 3. So take out the 0. That's 133.
Yep.
All right. That's a master number, but there's still a 13 in there, but it's like 1 3 3. It's like 1 3. Because like in sign language, if you're doing double L, like say I'm doing an L and it's LL, I would go LL. You don't just do L,
Okay.
L. You go L and you slide it over. So in this case, it's 133. One the 13 is a 1 3. Do you know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah.
Now I'm just playing. Okay, so the 1033 of Mercury equals 133. It's a 7. 3 plus 3 plus 1 equals 7.
Okay.
Yeah, I already had the 13 for that. So you have a 13 and you have a 7 in here. And then the 222, I have vision, idealism, transformation, ancient wisdom. And that's pretty much all I got. I already did the
222. Yep.
sun. Yeah. Did I decode 222 already? I know I looked at it. I don't know if I wrote it down. Let me see. Give me 1 second.
And that's a number I've seen quite frequently lately too.
I don't think I did. All right. Well, you could always look up angel numbers and all that. I have an angel number here. It's 2 tripled. It symbolizes faith, trust, serving others, encouragement, adaptability, teamwork, compromise, diplomacy, cooperation, duty, harmony, balance, partnerships, relationships, and selflessness. It also symbolizes the ability to manifest almost impossible things into reality.
Wow.
Ooh, I like
nice.
that. Yeah. All right. Well, there's your codes. Also, I'm doing codes over on my website, you guys, if you want to check out the daily codes. I do them a day or two in advance now. I'm going to put the website in the comments. Remember,
yeah, I've enjoyed that. I've really enjoyed that, Linda. Thank you.
Oh yeah, thanks for giving me the time on your show. You know, and you do the astrology. Thanks for letting me cut in with some of my opinions on the numbers. I appreciate it.
No, hey, I just appreciate you having me on here because, man, I tell you, with everything going on, you know, again, listen to people's comments before the show. The energy is just. But I'm hoping with this Taurus energy, we've got those 4 planets there to kind of ground things. It seems like it got a little bit easier. The last day or so slowed down a little bit, maybe.
Yeah, it's like everything just kind of comes together at once. But I think I'm hearing more people describe my experience, the way I'm experiencing things. I'm hearing more people talk about it like as a spiral, or just different things like time being circular and just stuff coming together the way it is. I'm seeing and hearing a lot more of that reflected back to me of what I'm experiencing. So yeah, if I'm feeling agitated and all that, it seems like everybody around me is agitated too. Sorry.
Yep. Yes.
I try to stay out of that energy, but sometimes you can't help it when it comes pouring in and you got still stuff that you're still cleaning out of the closet, maybe at the corner. You think you cleaned everything out, but don't, you forgot that one corner you couldn't reach. So
yes.
There might still be more. From the roller coaster. Here we go. Amy, hello, welcome. Thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm sorry I missed your earlier comments, but okay, yeah. Yeah, rewatch. I did a lot of codes. Some in the beginning too. Bev, are you doing readings still? Or should we put some banners up for you? What are we doing here? My soul songs? Is this the one?
Yes, I'm still doing readings on there, and I'm getting ready to offer just some basic readings, from my software, like just a basic birth chart and that. But if you wanted to go deeper, then I will offer the readings and stuff. Nice. Looking at a couple other little reports that I can put on my site. At least it'll give you kind of like a roadmap or whatever, and then we can dig deeper into it if you'd like. But yeah. I'm doing readings all the time now still.
Yeah, you don't want to miss one of those if you want to know what's going on in your chart. That's for sure.
And being the astrologer, I'll be having a bad day, and the last thing I do is look at my chart. And it's like, why did you not look at that this morning? You could have had a heads up. What were you thinking?
I swear some of this stuff is revealed after you've passed your test or did what you have to do. And it's almost like you can't see it before then. Spirit has such a sense of humor. I think sometimes we don't always get it, but it's like you find out, you go through something, you find out, and then you're like, like you said, why didn't I look earlier? But you weren't supposed to, because maybe you wouldn't have passed the test. Maybe you wouldn't have done what you were supposed to do as a human, in self-discipline and training and taming, the inner whatever. And there it is. So then you get the validations and the confirmations, and then we could say, ha, 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 very funny,
Yeah. I look up and just shake my head sometimes. Sometimes it's so apparent, and I'll think, how did I not see that? But until you're ready, it just doesn't happen.
Bev, what are your thoughts on Ophiuchus? I believe that's the 13th sign, Ophiuchus.
Uh,
Ophiuchus.
that's a rabbit hole I haven't dove down yet, but you know what? It's on my list of things to look at because I'll tell you, astrology. I've been doing this for 7 years, and I told my sister today, who also does astrology, I don't think I know anything some days because it seems like the more I learn, the more there is to learn. But yes, I would like to look into that because that really interests me.
Well, I remember I did do a video on that, and I had done a little bit of research before I did the video, so, not exactly sure if it's on Rumble or YouTube at this point, I don't know. Sorry about that. If I find the link, I don't know, Scotty, I don't know how I could maybe find one of your comments and then put it under there, but, Ophiuchus.
Because
You know,
if
he's
I'm
number 13. If 13's coming in, like, everything if you think about it
that's
logically, look, we have all these things that are 12, 12, 12, 12, 12, and, ooh, 13's bad. Don't use
yeah, yeah.
13. Oh,
Hmm.
and yet it's used in all the rituals and all the, higher power, higher magic, all that kinda stuff. And it's like, okay, so 13 has power. It's lucky, not unlucky, or depending on how you look at it, maybe it's unlucky for you. But there's a lot of things that have been hidden. So if there is a 13th sign and they have been like took that extra slice of the pizza out just to confuse people, we were disconnected. I believe there's also a 13th strand of DNA, not just 12. So I think it's all
That
tied
would
in,
make
and we
sense.
have yet to get to that level of maybe it'll drip down because people like me will just speculate about it, or Scotty, you bring it up, and there is a lot of threes, Derek. Threes and 13s. Those are his. Oh yeah. You just never know what we have been hidden from, what we might attach all of our belief systems to a system that is wrong. Like, just look at the 13 moon calendar versus our 12-month calendar. I mean,
Yes.
you look at something like that and you go, oh, okay, well, if they screwed with that. So, yeah, even astrology could be missed off and everything, just 12 signs. What if there was 13? What do
Well,
you
it's
think?
fun. It's funny that you're talking about this because you know what? I really want to dig into that and look at it. But where we've got Neptune right now, you notice Neptune's at 27 degrees of Pisces. Now that's the last sign, and it is making a square to the galactic center.
Wait, what
Now,
is Neptune?
Neptune,
Oh,
Neptune and
27 degrees of
Pisces,
Pisces. There it is.
and it will be squaring the galactic center until early 2025. So
Ooh.
this is where just what you're talking about. I think this is going to open up that higher knowledge and things that we have been told we're going to find out aren't true. I think there's going to be well, Sagittarius is the galactic center, 27 degrees. So you're looking at higher education, you're looking at religion, spirituality, dogmas. I think things are going to get blown so out of everybody's realm of what they always thought. I think these next couple of years are going to be a big opening because Neptune at that 27 degrees, we're 3 degrees away from ending up the zodiac. So it's going to start a new cycle. So what is it going to reveal to us in squaring the galactic center? What knowledge are we going to find out has been totally twisted, warped? And I think some people's minds are really going to be blown. I think a lot of us will, but I think it'll be harder for some people because some people are more set in that dogma and things have to be a certain way. So I think it's going to be a time to really stay open, use your intuition, tap into spirit, and see what is resonating with you. Because we've had so many things covered up in the lies and stuff, and that's what Pluto had been digging up there when we had the USA's Pluto return, which is interesting because, okay, we got Pluto sitting there at 0 degrees Aquarius. He's retrograding and he's going to go back over that 28 degrees of Capricorn again, go back another degree and to hit it one more time before this is all over. So Pluto's going back for that final deep dive. What did we not get to? Let's bring the truth out. Let's transform this, burn it down. What is the new form? So we've got a lot of stuff. I mean, I just sit here and look at it, and the deeper I go, the more I see.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And Scotty's nailing it on here too. He says 13 months at 28 days with 1 day as neutral. You know what you're talking about, Scotty, right? That's the Zolkeen, that's the 13 moon calendar.
Okay.
And it's perfect. It's 7 days, 4 weeks exactly, 28 days. It's a 13 moon, not month, 13 moon calendar. It's based on the moon cycles. So yeah, you're onto something there for sure. And Bev, when you're talking about the higher mind and the lower mind, you were saying something earlier.
About Mercury and Uranus.
Okay. And this is Uranus here, right? And this is Mercury. They're getting together. They're literally
Right.
coming. So think of your higher self, your soul self. Think of like the great reveal within yourself, opening up. Because I've literally had, an experience with this, and I'm telling you guys, open up like to that higher mind. You probably already are if you're watching this, but let it come down, let it come in, just like let it merge. You have to go up to a certain level. That's the work we all do. We do our personal work, and we get up to a certain level where spirit can meet you and then lift you the rest of the way by merging. It's like the complementary but opposing forces within. You know how they work together, but it's not like you're mixing it to mix a gray. You're still
Right.
you still have the yin and you still have the yang or yin, yin yang. I was corrected on that. Like, wait, I've been saying that wrong. I'll say yang for Korean because I took Korean martial arts. So I like yang.
Okay.
I like that better. But anyway, it's like
It's
opposing but complementary forces that work together within. So your lower mind, your higher mind, you don't lose yourself by merging with your higher self. You guys know this. I'm preaching to the choir here.
and
It
it's the
just feels like it.
balance. It's the balance, and it's the two working together. I mean, you look at it, at the things that we have working together in this chart right here, and then you're going to add Neptune into working with the galactic center, and we've got the Great Attractor opening up, and more coming down from other galaxies, and than ours. We're getting ready to hit some really big times. I mean, I know in a 3D you have to deal with the 3D, and that's what Saturn's about.
Yeah.
So Saturn's saying be responsible with what you do in the 3D, stand for your commitments, but look at what you really don't want to take forward, because he's in Pisces, the last sign there too. And it's just a balancing act all the way around, I think. And we have so many things that are opening us up and balancing each other out. That's what I see. It's all a
Mm.
balancing act at this point.
Well, if you think about the North Node again in Jupiter, all the fours that it's carrying, that's a solid foundation.
Yes.
There's a lot of fours in this. There's a lot of 12s and 13s that are being anchored. The 13 and the 1111 gateway and the fours being anchored. It's like you just can't,
And in
you can't.
Taurus, that's a great thing because it's what we value. It's redefining those things that we value, finding ways now to put them in place as we've gone through these cycles.
And it's very earthly. It's an earth sign. So it's
Yes,
grounding it into earth. It's
grounding.
manifesting it into this physicality. It's like if you could step out of the shell of your human body and you could just walk right out of your body and shed it like a snake skin. I know they talk a little bit about serpents recently too, and people that have been attacked by bringing the serpent and the rose together. Well, is that not what combining divine masculine, divine feminine is all about? Bringing the opposites together. So
Yes, and balance.
I'm going to throw something out that's going to knock some people off balance to ponder this one, because I just shared a video. It was about a 3 to 4 minute. You guys all know, if you didn't get the what, right? If you didn't get the jibby jabby, and we were name called, we
Ah,
were whatever, all this stuff. So there's a compilation of all the news media and things that they said, the names, the horrible names that they called the unvaxxed, and these things that they're saying. And it was in a short period of thing, but it hit so hard. It was like, oh my God, I remember this time. So I decided I thought well about it, but I thought, I'm going to share this. And I did. I shared it on Facebook. I don't know if it's going to get off or get my whatever. I mean, they said it. It's them. You use their own words.
I'm gonna have to
Um,
check it out because I really would like to see that, Linda.
okay. Well, I made it public. So even if you aren't my friend on Facebook or whatever, you can still see it if you wanted to share it, because it really hit. It was very powerful. Um, and the thing that struck me the most was, okay, so even my own family treated me like that. Some in my own family, and multiple times, not just once. So, and that's okay. Like, don't forget, but it's like not knowing the good meal until you've had the bad one. Okay. We've been experiencing all this. So how do we want to handle this if we were on the other end? We would want forgiveness, right? So,
Yes.
okay, we have to learn. We have to learn. We have to be able to express that compassion, love, and forgiveness, even when they called you the worst of the worst names or scourged you or whatever.
And,
It's all been done. It's in the past. You want to hold on to that hatred and anger and bitterness and told you so? You want to hold on to that? Or do you want to move into forgiveness and compassion and love and really manifest what you want? You have to still be that better person by manifesting that forgiveness, even when they've called you all those names. So if you guys have been through that, if you see that video, it had like a lot, like millions of views already. And I
wow.
think it was just put out. So I'm sure it's like one of those viral things that people are like, "Yeah, I remember that." Like, you can't
Hmm.
pretend like you never did all that.
No, no,
But but
yeah,
how do we handle it? Where is your walking in honor? Where is your grace? Where's your compassion? Where's your forgiveness? It's like if you don't walk the walk, if you don't walk the talk, how can you expect to have anybody treat you the way you want to be treated if you don't do that first? So
yes.
that's my soapbox for tonight. Sorry, guys.
That's okay. And you know
Spirit
that
wanted it.
that's talking about things in Sagittarius. You know, that's a lower expression of Sagittarius is my way is the right way, and so it's a time to be open and stuff. Don't take those lower expressions, you know, because I have different viewpoints, and you know, I like to talk to people and hear, you know, like religion. I love to hear what other people think, and I don't get upset. And that's not. It's hard to do that. Some people you can't do that with. I mean, don't try to turn me over to your way. I just am interested to hear what your perspective is, and we're cool if you respect me and we keep our boundaries. Hey, that's because I love to hear things. I love to learn. You know, there's not much I don't want to learn more about. So yeah, when you can do that, that's when you know that you have a good relationship with somebody. You can agree
Yeah,
to disagree and not fight over it, you know? And
that's
that's
right.
it's with that compassion and just understanding you meet everybody where they're at that time, you know? And
Well,
maybe
when you
they're
watch
not
that
at a
video,
place.
you'll when you watch the video, you'll see though that the treatment was beyond just not respecting opinions. It was the name calling,
Yeah.
like, it was and the just everything that was said, like, "We should be taxed if we're not vaxxed, and we were gonna kill people, the blood's gonna be on our hands," like, they were really, really nasty, like, as bad as you can get,
And
and,
see, that's where I have a hard time too with spiritual things that do that. You know, okay, stay out of that part of it because you know there's a couple people I quit listening to that I had followed for a long time because they
yeah.
said some really outrageous things like and that just I was like devastated. A couple people I thought,
Yeah,
you know what, I never expected that to come from that person because
yep,
I had learned so much spiritually from their teachings that I thought, man, you know, and
yep,
and that's why I never come out with something like that and die because you know what? Things change, things
yep.
evolve, you know. Don't judge. It's
Don't judge
hard
is right, you
sometimes.
just don't know. You don't know
Yeah,
that if somebody, was worried about losing their income or, like Jamie Foxx who just had a stroke, right? And he was pressured, so he said to get the boosters, which means he got the first 2, he wasn't pressured, and then I guess the booster is the 3rd one, right? And he said
yeah.
he didn't want it, but he got pressured. That's the from what I've been hearing from other people that watch the news and all that, because I don't. Um,
Me either.
yeah,
I
not
respect
not no, wait,
everybody's decision. Yeah,
mainstream is what I don't watch.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it's available if I wanna, like, walk out in the other room and see it, but I yeah, wear headphones quite a bit. Um, anyway, yeah.
It's
So
getting away
there's
from that division because think about it. That was one of the biggest dividers they had. Thinking how it had people hating each other. I mean, I don't need to tell you, preaching to the choir, but you know, it's sad that they use things like that to just, it's all about division. You know, it's just like the things they've hijacked different organizations that people won't really stand behind. I mean, it's all been about division. Now, looking at this chart, it's time to bring things back together. We're all here, we're all connected to the creator. Let's just get along. And that's
yeah,
pretty much what the whole lesson is. And you think
yeah.
that would be simple enough, you know? Let's see, this is 2023, but it's not. We're getting there. We're getting
Oh,
there.
well, yeah. And looking at the astrology again, when you see the 11, so here's an 11 and here's the 11. You see the 1111 gateway being locked in by the full moon. Remember, the full moon is 2 days before, the day of, 2 days after, but this is really when it locks it in, when it's at this degree point. So when it's, I guess, exact, is that right, Bev? Or when it's at exactly 13 degrees, 18 arc minutes?
Right. Exact when it's exact.
Yeah. So you could just do a Google search and just say, what time is the full moon? Or
Uh,
what time is the next full moon? And probably the first or second one on there will probably tell you. But when that happens, that's the moment. If you can think around that time, if you can set an alarm on your phone or whatever, that's the time you want to do a meditation and actually see this is a choice point. Bev, you were saying this before we got on.
yes. Yes. This is definitely a choice point. You know, it's looking at, like I said, just you got that Neptune square in the galactic center. It's looking and reaching for the higher, and you can choose to take the lower road and stay in that. But you know what? I think this is it's a pivotal point. What you choose right now is of great importance as far as in your spiritual journey and your spiritual path. And I think a lot of people are gonna more people are gonna wake up and see, you know what, let's stop and let's get back on the spiritual path and let's all get along.
And Sagittarius, this is funny. I have to see, Derek, I'm not sure if you're still watching, but I'm going to try to tell the story. And just if you're listening and you can tell me if I'm right or wrong, like, I mean, if you remember it this way or not. But when I was heading out across the country, Derek invited me to stay with his family for the first night or two on my journey, right? And you did too, Bev, but I wanted to get a little further closer to Kansas. So you were going to be on the way back. Well, when we went out there, at the time, we both went outside to have a cigarette and we're looking up at the stars. It was freezing cold. It was so cold that night. And I remember that, we're just standing there looking up at the stars. And he was telling me about the constellation, and it was an archer. And he was telling me about how when he pulls the bow back and he's aiming the bow directly towards, I don't know, it's the galactic center. I'm not sure if that's what it was. I'm not sure if it was Sagittarius, if it was Taurus. I'm not really sure what it was, but there was an archer and he was showing me where he shoots the arrow
Yes.
right as he says that. Like not even 2 seconds later, less than 2 seconds, a shooting star goes exactly as if it shot from the arrow where he was just pointing and telling me an
Wow.
arrow shoots from. And we were
That
both
is so
like,
cool.
did you see that? Yeah. Did you see that? We played it off and act like it was kind of like, yeah, that was cool. Hey guys, but inside it was like, wow, seriously.
That is really cool to see that like that. It's like us watching the handle of that Big Dipper move, It's like, whoa, you sit and look at it and it's just so cool when you get those confirmations.
It is. Derek's here. So, Derek, is that
Awesome.
what happened? Was that what it was? Was it the Archer of Sagittarius? Or what was do you remember what the Archer was you were telling me about, or what that constellation was? Because it was like Orion's belt, maybe. And something was shooting from somewhere and you were pointing. Do you remember that? Just
And
confirm
I
that
just
for me.
read something about that, so I'm anxious to see what he has to say.
The magic in the moment. Yeah. Okay. Well, I can still try to retell the story because it was very magical. It was like, how did that happen? He's just done his fields were just lit, you know. Awesome.
That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see. Do we have anything else for tonight? What else we got going on here?
Just gonna mention, that chart doesn't show it, but we've got Chiron at 18 degrees, almost 19 degrees of Aries right now, and Chiron's also given support. There's a sextile. Chiron is sextile in the sun and trining the moon. So there is support again. There's another support for the healing that we're doing. And at 18 degrees, we're going into the 20. We're getting ready for that mastery. So what we heal and what we use the support for at this time is going to take us to that mastery that we need for the rest of the next leg of the journey, or what it is we want to do next. And that's changing a lot right now too, with all this information coming in.
And you said that's 18 degrees. 8 plus 1 is 9. 9 is completion, endings. Think about what you're healing, what you're leaving behind or no longer going with you. Think about cycles ending, the potential of new beginnings, transitions, transformations. It's humanitarian. It's about wise and wisdom, being wise and understanding, supportive, awakening, tolerant, respect, accepting, experienced. Think about it. You've gone through everything. You're experienced now. It's spiritual. It's sacrificial
It is.
too. It's compassionate, awareness. It's a source of comfort and healing for others. So think about that for your healing. You're coming up to the 9. Just think about what it means with a 10. A 10. Do you want a 10 body? I want a 10. It's like
Well,
a
I
new
guess
begin. It's a new beginning. It's what Bo Derek in that movie 10. It's the perfect body, right? Who doesn't want to
yes,
be a 10?
yes. Now, do you want to know what the next two numbers are? What the arc minutes are? 57. It was killing me to sit here and be quiet. I didn't want to interrupt you, but it's like, oh my God,
Another
there's a 5 and
12.
7, a
Oh
12.
my God, another
Mhm.
12. That's a 3.
Yes.
Or
Yeah. And you couldn't
the
see
Divine
that, so I had to
Trinity.
say something.
Wait, where was that one at?
That's on this other chart that I ran because I still cannot figure out how to tell my software to add in one particular
No,
point.
that's okay. But you said that was Aries, right? Or no?
Yeah, 1857 of Aries, Chiron. So he's just getting ready to go into that third decan of Aries, which is spiritual mastery. So
So
this last
it's
healing is going to
okay.
do that.
All right. I'm just trying to do those numbers. So we had the 9 for the first part, and what was the next two numbers? The 13,
Uh,
12?
5, 7, which equal 12. 5 and 7.
Okay. And so that's a 3, and 9 plus 3 is
12.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
That's another 12.
Yeah. That's why I was laughing looking at the numbers while you were talking. But
That's
yeah, so
great.
we've got support there from Chiron too. And we've got support
Chiron's,
with Mars there at the Jericho point. We have so much support right now that it's just amazing.
yeah, we do. And it's interesting because Mars is holding the 3 vibration along with Chiron, which is not on that chart there. We also have, who do we have for the 13th? The 13 is the sun, the moon, it's Venus, and the north node. Venus is reversed. And isn't Venus in retrograde?
No, Venus will go into Leo here in the next couple days, and then she'll go retrograde, and I think it's about the end of June until
Well,
October. She'll go
Venus
retrograde in Leo.
Venus is holding the 13 reversed code. So um I guess it's signaling up that her upcoming, which would be cool if the numbers signified her retrograde coming up, because it's like also the north node, same thing. It's like a reverse 13. Mercury's 13. Um that other, was that the great attractor? I have magnetic. I have major 13. Oh, major 13 is in major 13s in this chart.
Okay,
Oh,
all
for the
right.
4, yeah, the 4 is the sun, the moon is the 4, you know. Oh, I was doing 3s, not 4s. Sorry. I get mixed up sometimes if I'm not following exactly the way I wrote it. Who knows? Who
That's all
knows?
right. But you got Venus right there too at the 29th degree, might as well say, of Cancer too. And Cancer, that's
Mhm.
dealing with home and family and a lot of inner child wounds that Venus is finishing up there. And that's why going into Leo, then she kind of see what she wants to take with her, and then she gets up close to Mars, and that's when I think there's that connection. We've done
Mhm.
this, we've come through this. Where are we going next? So again, the masculine, the feminine. It just that comes together too.
Well, that's interesting too because the Venus, 39 minutes, 28 arc seconds. 39 is a 12 and the 28 is a 10. So it's a 1, 2, 1, 0. Well, 1, 2, 1 is 30, well, the 12 first because there's a colon. It's between the arc. So 39 colon 28 is 12 colon 10. It's 31 colon 1. Oh, I messed that up. Hey, I found a mistake I made. Never mind. Don't follow that rabbit hole. Let's stop
I,
that one. Cheat, right there,
I was
reverse.
looking
Arr!
and I got lost, but that's nothing new for me with numbers. My head just now, if you're
Oh,
talking dollars
oh,
and cents, yeah, dollars and cents,
oh.
my mind goes like that. But
Hold on. I did it right. I did it right. I just read it wrong.
okay,
The 39 is a 12. The 28
right,
is a 10. So we have a 12 and we have a 10. The 12
okay,
becomes a 3. The 1 is still a 1. The 31 equals a 4. Well, the 31 is the reverse 13 that I was telling you about for Venus. She's holding the 31
gotcha.
or the 310 if you don't drop the 0 right away. It's still a 31, but it's a strong 31 because a 10 is a 1, but it's come around the block a full circle. So let's see what ones are here if we go through our just
Like a cycle, yeah,
a quick little list. Yeah, it's independent, ambitious, proactive, pioneering, motivated, freedom loving, powerful, driven to succeed, stops at nothing in the direction of dreams, new beginnings. This is a powerful number when you have a 1 with a 10. It's just like I've already done that. I've already been there. Now I'm ready for a real new beginning. It's kind of like walking in somewhere and canvassing the place first to figure out where you want to sit. 10 is perfection, new beginnings, goal oriented, innovative, and all the qualities of 1, but bigger, wider, stronger, and more intense. So,
yep,
yeah. So when you have a number like 310, it's a 31 with a punch.
yes, yes.
Yeah.
We got a lot of punches coming up too.
Your dog's barking. Scotty's dog is barking. Mars is not known for his patience. Yeah, you guys, some of you guys I know the numbers are like boring or whatever, and some of you guys that are sticking around, I just find them fascinating. I can't help it. They tie in with the astrology. You can't miss some of
They
these
do,
things. You
they
don't
do
always.
as you
Oh,
as you
sorry.
catch
Just
them.
yeah, I was just gonna say you don't always know what it means, but if you start to learn numerology, just 0 through 9 or 1 through 9, and then you start adding master numbers and angel numbers and all that. But numerology itself doesn't change. The numbers never change. That's what I find the beauty in. You can add a
Yes,
number. You might add it different ways or whatever, calculate different ways, but there's certain things that just don't change. So that's pretty cool.
yes. And I always enjoyed numerology. I just Yeah, and I knew somewhere the numbers and all this tie together. So yeah, seeing you put it together and catching these codes has really been, amazing to me too. So there's more layers as we go.
Oh, thanks, Bev. Well, you know what else? I'd like to just keep tying this in with the Sabian symbol, the list that you gave me for the Sabian symbols,
Yes,
because just seeing like a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, the
that's the
four Taurus
Chiron
point.
point.
Yeah, the
Yep,
Chiron point. And then
yep,
you have um the constellation of stars in the sky. That's Charlico. And
yes,
then your great attractor, the pyramids and the Sphinx. When you have these certain points, like each point, there's 360 of them, and each one is something. There's also the Mahavidyas that Laura Walker does that you've
yes.
sent. And, she's really tapped in. I mean,
Oh
that
man, she
woman is
is.
amazing.
She got me
Yeah.
started on this. Her and then Molly McCord. Yeah, I had a reading done with Laura Walker, and it gave me the kickstart I needed. She said, "Go," and I said, "All right." And I've never stopped, and that's been a long journey.
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed every minute. I've learned so much.
Yeah. Well, sister, I'd like to ask you, let me look at the comments too, and I'm going to be asking you for any wise words, any channeling, what spirit might want to say, like what's jumping out at you. Have you got anything going on that you want to share? We'll just do that, and I'm just going to go through the comments, make sure there wasn't anything that I missed. Thank you guys for leaving comments too. I really appreciate it. Keeps us on our toes.
Yes, I can't see them, but I try to respond when you say something, Linda.
Oh, thanks.
Just know this next little bit's going to be a ride because we have Pluto going back into Capricorn. It's going to hit that USA Pluto return again. We've got the nodes of fate changing in July 18th. So all in like the next 6 weeks or so, we have some major changes. Um, when Pluto moves into or back into a degree, that's a big deal. Neptune and Pisces square in that galactic center until, let's see, until early 2025. I think January of 2025. We got some big lessons and some things coming in, but we have to have the destruction and the tearing down before we can rebuild. And we've seen so much, and I know everybody's just tired. And the trauma and all that, it's like, oh my God, is it ever going to stop? We've talked about it, Linda. Some days you lose faith and you wonder why. Am I delusional? Am I crazy? But just hang in there because it's all a process. And I won't repeat that word again.
You will.
I try not to use it as little as possible.
That's so funny. Oh, girl.
Oh, thank you, Scotty.
Yeah, good. So if I put them up, you can read them.
I can see them
Okay,
when you
good.
put them up. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
And there's another one for you. Oh, wait. No, this one. Hold on. I'll get to yours, Derek. It says, yes, Bev, much gratitude for you and sharing your wisdom with us. And in case anybody's just listening to this and they're not actively reading the comments, Scotty Boy had said, thank you, Bev, for not stopping, commenting from earlier what you were saying.
Oh,
Derek.
you're welcome, Amy. And I appreciate you being here, everybody being here. If I could just share a little something with anybody, that's what it's about.
Okay, here's another one from Derek. This is a good comment. Time is speeding back up. If you're in the light body, it will be fast. If you're stuck in your emotional body, time won't move. Yeah, I was just saying this. My dad
Mm-hmm.
is actually like not really. He's declining again. He's still he was hanging on for a while, but he's at
Yeah.
peace. But sometimes he's in pain. Anyway, my mom and I were going to see him again, and I could feel him outside of his body, and his body just looked like he was sleeping. And it's very sad to see that. But I was talking to his body, his spirit, and he kind of went back into his body, and it's almost like he was trying to say it takes a lot of energy. And I was trying to explain this to my mom. It takes a lot of energy to bring the body when it wants to cross the soul. It's ready to go. He's ready to go. But it's like the body's still doing its thing. And there's still more
Yeah.
to process. And I've seen him. He's lost a lot of weight, and I'm seeing him. And it's just sad to see this. But we know what's happening when they're transmuting stuff still. Like he's working and he's active, and his lineage is very powerful, and Emerald Ray, and he's a Leo, and so he's a very tribal type of although he was very respectable court reporter, like you'd never know that. And he used to joke with me about conspiracy theories.
Hmm.
But my dad, he and I butt heads, but we worked out a lot of our stuff, and it just it comes from a beautiful place of love, seeing where he's at and telling him, "Thank you for, taking this one on." Because the longer he's in here, the more stuff he's transmuting and releasing and healing, and his body is letting it go. And I honor him for that. So I'm just bringing that up because sometimes it's really, really hard to it takes a lot of energy to be in the body and do that. So what Derek was saying is absolutely
Yeah.
spot on. You
Yes.
you just it takes a lot of energy to focus on things in the density. So like why not just go with the flow? It's like, but your light body, you want to have it anchored in your physical body. So you're still taking your body with you wherever you go. You don't want to just be
Yep.
like constantly out here outside of yourself. You want to have it all in centered and anchored and grounded.
I don't know. Some days I could really just stay out there. It's much nicer.
I know. I know, listening to the birds and
Yes. Yes.
not
Just
the
kind of
not the
zoning out.
noise. I
Yeah.
still think it finds you no matter what. If the chaos is meant for you, it will find you. It will seek you out, and no matter how much you want to hide, if there's something that you're hiding from, it will find you.
Yeah. Try to take a nap, and that's all I'm going to say.
Oh, you mean when you try? Oh, yeah.
When you try to take a nap. Yeah.
Well, that's just something poking at you. That's like
Yeah.
they're like poking the bear, kind of. Not that
That
you're a
kind of
bear.
thing.
I'm just saying. Betty, thank you. Thank you. She
Oh,
says, "We're
thank you.
wonderful. We love you
Thank you.
too." Betty's doing such amazing work. Betty, I want to have you come on my channel. Are you ready? Are you ready, sis?
Yeah.
Got to hear. No, I met Betty. We got to hear her story. You got to hear her
Oh,
story.
okay. Yes. Yes. That would be awesome. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. I'll just try to make sure I didn't miss anything here. We get over sad. Home is home. Yeah, home is home. That's right. Promotion time. It's sad because you miss the human, but it's like it's promotion time for some people. Okay, Amy, you're welcome. I hope that I think you were talking to me, right? I don't know. She's saying that's a beautiful explanation. All right. Losing a loved one. Yeah, there. I think Bev would agree with that one. I don't care what anybody says, losing a loved one hurts, period. Yes, it does.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry guys. I'm really far behind here in the comments.
But
So,
Scotty, it's been an opportunity for healing too. Big time.
well, oh yeah, I mean when someone passes?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of healing that you find from it too, but it still is hard.
Yeah. Knowing or not knowing. Okay, well, we're doing a lot of that. So I think you guys just take what you have, take what you know, be who you are, don't hide. If spirit's talking to you, this is the time to listen. It might be time to get out of the comfort zone for some people because I think there's a few people that are stepping out of their comfort zone. And would you say the astrology supports that, Bev?
Yes, it does right now. It wants you out of that comfort zone, because if you stay in that comfort zone, you're not gonna learn. And again, with Pluto and some of the things involved, it will drag you out. So you know what? Go willingly. Don't make it any worse than it has to be. You know where you need to be, and you know what you can't take forward, and just make those decisions and follow your heart and your spirit.
Yeah, well said. Well, it does. It takes time to heal. Betty, you're right. It does take time to heal. It does get easier. And I think
Yes.
the older we get and the way we've been desensitized, because a lot of us have figured out too that like, we kind of figured out it's not like you're told when you're a kid. When you're a kid, it's like you feel like so many things, and then as you live through, you start to learn a lot about how it works. And when you lose people, you get to know, hey, like it's promotion time, like it's
Yeah.
not so hard on the other side. So anyway, we're here for a job. We're here for a mission. We're here to really knock this out of the park, and I think we are. I think we're doing it. I think we've stepped beyond a certain point, and the threshold might be, for the whole entire collective, maybe through this
Yes.
major 1111 hidden 1111 gateway anchoring in the 13 13 13 13. So, what is 13 times 4? Like when you say, not what is the number, but if you say 13 squared, 13 cubed, what is 13 forward? Because we got a lot of fours in the chart too. There's a lot of
Yeah.
fours. So what is
I
4?
can't I can't do that in my head. I just you triggered something when you said something on my notes that I had here. Something I didn't mention, but I found interesting too.
What's that?
When I was talking about that Pluto going back to that 28 Capricorn,
Mm-hmm.
it goes back to that USA Pluto return. Then it goes back a little further, and when it comes back there, it returns to 28 degrees on November 2nd. And that's all I'm going to say.
Whoa.
Yes, yes. When you just triggered something when you said, I don't know what you said. It just made me, wait a minute. I was
Oh,
going to mention that. Yeah.
wait a
Hmm.
minute. This year or next year? Because this is only 2023.
It is, but
God, please tell me we don't have to wait till 2024.
okay,
I
goes
mean, I know
direct.
we got to wait for something. I get it. I know we have to wait. I know oh, yeah. Go
It
ahead.
goes
Go ahead.
direct October 11th and then hits again that 28 degrees. No, it's this November, but I find it interesting. It's around that time of year.
Yeah. 1 year deltas and all
Uh-huh.
that.
Yes.
Well, you know, speaking of things, there was, so the way the world is right now, would anybody even consider planning a world party or a world celebration?
Ah,
Would you guys really, you guys remember when I first
no.
started my channel, it was poetry and all that. And then I started doing stuff when COVID hit and everything. I started doing truther stuff and Q stuff and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I like to figure out puzzles. I can't help it. I like to, it's fascinating to me to figure things out and go down rabbit holes. Well, yeah. So Nasera Jacera was a really big deal to talk about back then. And, it started getting squashed. And then there was a lot of stories made up about it. And well, when you start looking at the points of what it is and you start seeing it playing out, you kind of can't unsee what's happening and the potential of what's coming. And who would plan a world celebration and party for a year? A world party for a whole year, culminating all year. So from Memorial Day of 2025 to July 4th of 2026,
Wow.
there's going to be a 1 year long, his Trump's administration is going to be working with the Iowa State Fairgrounds to open up the Iowa State Fairgrounds for like a world fair for like in a whole year. And they're going to have like each state having things. They're going to have youth competitions. So like, how greed and corruption and everything has hit our sports organizations and all that. Well, he's taking that all out. He's saying, okay, let's have something for the high school kids. They're not bought and paid for yet. They're not pros. They're doing it for the glory of competition. So I guess he's doing it for, I don't know. I can't pretend to know why he's doing it just for high school kids, but I think it's awesome. You get
It's
to see
time for
real
change. Yes.
real competition, and that kind of thing. And then each state, and then there's going to be, well, a lot of stuff, but I'm just going to say, even if you're just announcing you're going to plan something like this, if you get into office, you don't have a dream or a vision or a lifelong vision. Like you were telling me, tell them in a second what you told me about his father and the state fairs or the world fair, because you don't have a vision like this unless you were born to do something like this. And you don't usher in a world fair when people don't have money to travel there, or they're not safe and secure because there's criminals and gangs and all kinds of stuff. It's like, well, the way the world is right now, that would never fly. So you have to be able to see past everything that's going on, at least to say, wait, why would he be planning something like this? Unless we're already cleaning things up and maybe there is a plan, and maybe that's just not for me. I'm just supposed to like let them do what they're going to do and not worry about it, because I know, that this is going to happen after. And it's like we're working our way towards it step by step. So people, by July 2025, people are going to have rectification and justice has to be done between now and then. There has to be disclosure and justice for things that are more public. We're already getting disclosure. I'm getting disclosure for codes. Like you're getting disclosure. Everybody gets their own personal disclosures, but there's also disclosures of stories breaking, the pedophilia, the vaccines, like all these different things that are happening. There's stories coming out about all this stuff, right? So there is disclosure going on. You're just not seeing it on mainstream, for which we know why. And sometimes you are, but at a certain point, they're either going to have to report the news, the real news, or something else is going to have to happen so people can get the truth, you know?
it's going to all have to collapse. And I find it interesting too. We got Mercury and Uranus conjunct for this full moon, and that deals with communications. It deals with electricity, currents. So don't be surprised if we have problems with computers, internet, or things like that, because that's gonna be a pretty good shake up there with those two joining forces.
Mm. Yeah, well, also that, we've been told there's going to be a lot of outages and power things and grid stuff. And now there's stories that are circulating that there's going to be hundreds of satellites falling down on humans. But you know what? It's humans' fault because we caused a greenhouse effect. So we caused the temperature to rise so that all the satellites are just going to drop out of the sky. Have you heard that yet? Like, come
No, I hadn't
on.
heard that one. Oh my God!
Well, I'm simplifying
Wow.
it. I'm definitely simplifying it. No
Yeah.
source on that one, you guys, because I'm simplifying it. But it's crazy because um, if you think about this, the solar flare, the sun popping off and hitting satellites, that makes a lot more sense than thinking humans did it. It's our fault because we all farted. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
just
my
kidding.
God, Linda.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. SO2 and all those things that are the particles that are not good for you and all this stuff, all that stuff. I really believe a lot of this stuff is ending. And I saw somebody say something about
Yeah.
trails. Oh, my church is in the trails I walk, a small town, a river flowing and falls. Okay, I thought you were talking about chemtrails for a minute. I was gonna say, uh-oh. We covered a lot of stuff already tonight.
Yeah, yeah, it's been a lot, but I see so many things changing, and you're right. It all has to collapse. Everything has to change, and with this Pluto going back there into that Capricorn and that Pluto degree, I think we're really going to see some deep, dark, way below the surface stuff coming up. But you know what? It has to. Now let's get
Yes.
it out and let's change it.
And that's exactly what Scotty's saying here. Why does it have to get worse before it gets better? His follow-up comment was, I don't see worse. I see better when he's awake. Scotty, we get that.
It's hard because yeah,
There's people that were so programmed by what the news told them that they weren't
and
even trusting
dogmas.
their common sense to follow real science instead of paid people that circle jerk back to themselves to verify their own stuff. They fact check their own
Yes,
themselves, like Reuters, for example. I'm calling them out because I have receipts from this. So, like, you can't fact check yourself and say that that's a valid argument. It's not. And when you have people that have credentials that have, scientific studies which are peer reviewed,
yes,
and then you see how all this played down. There's a lot of people that have to come out of that programming. And by being complacent, by being apathetic, I think is the word I'm looking for, just by not really, getting involved. Not that everybody should be involved in local politics, but everybody should at least know what their own sovereign rights are. And where are we looking at sovereignty as? Just in the physical? Well, you're a multidimensional being, so we have to start looking at sovereignty and personal sovereignty as a multidimensional
yes,
foundation of who we are, because we're not just a body. Our body is just the car we're driving. So what is
yes.
your
This is
spirit?
just
What does that
temporary.
mean? Yes. And what is it? Is it a ship to you? Are you the captain of your ship? Are you driving your own ship? Because the people that are not driving their own ship are looking for the news to tell them the truth.
Yeah,
It's like, just
yeah.
because the news says it. Oh, well, they said it was going to be, oh, it must be true because the news told me. Like, those people have to come out of this. They have to see what they refuse to see. And so when you see it out in the world, and then you have the news telling you no, like, we're not in a depression or we're not in a recession or
Yeah,
things
yeah.
like that. So yeah, they're going to have to see it play out. And it sucks because, yeah, like for certain things you were telling me, Bev, my buy me a coffee link wasn't working. If
Yes.
anybody, I have to say, you guys know I worked, like, the culmination of my life's work was called Ascension Maps. If you're watching this for the first time, ascensionmaps.com. It's a free thing. If you want to follow along and support my work, you can buy the PDF version. There's 2 books over there now. You can buy them at Amazon. The links are all over at ascensionmaps.com. But there's ways that you can offer an energy exchange, because if you go through all of Ascension Maps and you don't feel like donating $20, then I really did something wrong because it's pretty damn
Yeah,
powerful. And so I
it's
was
good.
thinking, along the way, people would just make fair energy exchange, but I did put a lot of those links in there, Bev, for buy me a coffee. And Bev was telling
Okay.
me yesterday, and it's been open since, like, what, March or April. Sometime I started dropping it, finished up in April. And oh no, I opened up in February. And apparently the links weren't working, which I didn't know. If anybody was trying to make a donation out there, please just go to lindalight.com and look for the services page. If you scroll down, there's my PayPal link. That's like the only remaining PayPal link that I have.
Oh,
Or try the buy me a coffee and maybe it'll work for you guys now because I think I squared it up last night. So try that one first if that's the way you're looking.
I'm just glad I found it. Yeah, because
I am too.
I said, hey,
But it was
wait a
like
minute,
this.
Linda, did you know? And you were like, oh, no, I had no idea.
No, but this is part of my life path, and it's just like I guess I'm just supposed to go through this and not be angry, mad, upset, whatever. It's like, okay, I know the universe has got my back. When is the money coming? I have no idea. I'm not living about money right now. I have what I need as I need it. Does it suck living like it? Yes, it does. I'm not going to lie. It does when there's certain things you can't do because you don't have money. Nobody likes living like that.
Yeah, I get it.
So the point is to be able to rise above all of that. And I think my life as an example has to be this. It had to be so that when we all transform, we can say you can do it even if you don't have money, even if you're not,
Yeah,
in a position where you can go and afford to buy all these classes and all these things. And that's why I did it for a
yeah.
free thing. You can go through the website on the internet one for free. You don't have to buy the book. You don't have to buy the treasure map to follow along. That's like in writing, but it really is kind of cool to hold a physical book in your hand.
Yes.
There's one of them, Chronicles. This one's not for sale yet. I haven't even been able to get this book yet, but this was the proof copy. Anyway, it's nice to be able to hold it in your hand. So if you want to support
Yes.
my work and you like to hold a physical book, that'd be great. And if you don't, blessings to you anyway. Enjoy the treasure hunt.
And that's the beauty of it all. We do our own exchanges, and I want to keep things affordable too on my readings and stuff for people because, hey, I don't want that to be, we're all going to be uh, abundant beyond belief. We just have to wait for this system to do what it's going to do.
Mm.
And we all just kind of support each other and help each other out. That's what it's all about.
Oh, what was the vision you were saying? Was it Trump's father or something that
It was
had the
something
world?
about
Something.
the World's Fair back in like 1929 or something when they first did it in New York. There was advertisements. His family had been in real estate at that time, and they had something called Flushing Meadows, and they were advertising this new. So he had the real estate stuff. I mean, it's been a family-long dream, and they've been doing that. So I just found that an interesting fact, when you mentioned the World's Fair.
I just think it's something you don't just take lightly. Like, look at all the projects I like to take on one after the next. You just take on projects you like. They're fun. They're projects. It can be
Yeah,
creative or otherwise, but to plan a world fair like for a year.
yeah,
I
should
mean,
be
world.
interesting
It's
because it'd be
called.
cool.
He called it World Celebrations. Did I get the gematria code for that too? Let me see. Uh, I probably have it, but it's probably in another notebook. It's not
That's me. I
on here.
got pieces of paper all over tonight.
Oh God, sis, if you could even see that, if you could even see. Oh my God.
That's okay.
All right. Well, I'm sorry, guys. I'm not keeping up with the chat here. Let me see. Find money. Yeah, we're not here to find money. Money finds us. I love
That's
that.
right.
That's a good
Right.
comment to leave up there as a truth bomb. So true.
It was probably during Mercury retrograde, Linda. That's why you didn't catch it or you didn't know about it till now.
Oh my God. I didn't know about it at all. I put it up and it looked
Yeah,
like it was working for me. And then
right.
when I went to test it, I was going to test like one payment and pay myself and just whatever the fees were for it, just eat it. I wanted to make sure it was working. And then it told me you can't pay yourself. And it was like, you have to. So then I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do the whole incognito, use a different email thing. Cause then forget it. It's going to pick up my name on the credit card anyway. So I was like, nope, not doing it. I just figured
Yeah.
it worked because it looked like it worked. But yeah, that
Again,
explains a
Mercury
lot. I
retrograde.
just
Yeah.
I keep doing the work. It's like if nobody wants it, that's okay. I'm still here. I'm still showing up.
Still doing it.
Even
That's right.
if I don't care. I'm still here.
That's what it's
As
all
long as
about, the
I'm
spirit of it.
yep. As long as you're breathing. I'm just so grateful you showed up tonight, sis, because this
Oh,
astrology is
thank you.
powerful and I'm just glad we could share it with everybody. Thank you guys for joining us live. I don't have
Yes.
any wise words of wisdom to end the show with. Do you have any final?
Not really. Just sit back and watch. We've got that Mars that's conjunct that Cheroklo point, and Cheroklo is the observer, the spinner of grace, and she just sat back and observed a lot. And I think that's some good words for right now until we see things or how they're going to pan out here in the next week.
I like that. Just become the observer.
Yes.
All right. Well, that and one for Stephanie. Don't be food.
Yes.
All right, guys. Have a great night. We'll be back next time. You can always reach out to either one of us. We love you. We're right here with you. Peace.
Peace.